right, welcome everyone to another edition of the Focus TV Season 9, Episode 33. Got Octavia White here, Cardo Dudley Jr., Wilson Tarver Jr., and Raymond Lyons. All right, so before we get to everything, just a nice reminder, head over to thefocustv.com so you can stay up to date with everything we have going on. We're fresh out of WNBA All-Star break, so it should be a lot of WNBA content as the week goes on. The Mystics are about to start. They did start 5-game homestand. Also, 24/7 live feed from our channel that is available on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. That feed plays our most recent content is up as well on the channel, along with the latest news and interviews, all on thefocustv.com. All right, so tonight, as I said, Mystics coming back from All-Star break. So we had pregame from this evening. Find out what Cardell shared in terms of keys of the game for anyone that did miss it, followed by the latest episode of The Probe, which is Mystic related as well. Cardell took some time, broke down Georgia Amore, impact on both sides of the ball. So that's where we're going to get started with things this evening. We're back from the All-Star break. Washington hosts Connecticut. The Mystics are 14-12. The Sun come in at 7-20. The season series is currently tied at 1-1, with the Sun winning the last matchup 68-57. As far as the injury report goes, it's great to see this for Washington. Once again, they have no injuries to report. On the Connecticut side of things, Aaliyah Edwards is listed as probable. Brittany Griner listed as out. And Sanaya Rivers is also listed as probable. But Cardell, last week we were talking about, we're reflecting on the first half of the season on the Focus last week, talking about the Mystics. Second half of the season is officially here. What do the Mystics have to do tonight to start the second half of the season off with a win?
Come out with the same energy that they came out with against the Valkyries and the Aces before All-Star break. Don't be lax as far as you looking at it. You're playing the Fever. They're down on Griner, Aaliyah Edwards. She probably, Sanaya Rivers may not play. They just came off right before the All-Star game. They got blown out by the Fever by basically about 50. You know what I mean? So you don't want to come in with a lackadaisical attitude like, this is an easy win. We can take our time and just cruise and get this, because that's when you'll be in a dogfight and end up losing. And that's not the way you want to start the second half of the season coming out of All-Star break, especially when you're the last seed right now. You got, saw earlier, you're pretty much 4.5 games out of like third to second place, second to third place. So we're about 14 games left. So you have an opportunity to move up and possibly try to fight for some home court advantage. A couple wins, 2 or 3 wins, you up there. You're gonna jump some teams, man. So every win counts. Teams about to be in playoff mode. They about to be in, what I call kill mode, because they're trying to make the playoffs or secure a good seed in the playoffs so they can make them run for the championships. Yeah, so Griner and you said Sanaya Rivers are out, but they still have Leland, huh?
No, I'm saying Griner's out. Sanaya Rivers and Aaliyah Edwards are probable.
Oh, probable. So that means they're playing. So Griner's out there leading the score, but they still pretty much got everybody else showing up. It's not just Griner, Leland LeCan. You got to kind of. She's a problem. Second leading scorer, 12.8 points. 4.4 assists, 2.1 steals. She gets it done on both ends. Crafty guard and get in the lane at will. So you have to kind of deal with her. Nisa Morrow, just a feisty wing that scrappy wing, averaging 10.5 points, 9.3 rebounds, 1.5 assists. So you got to keep her off the boards, especially because she's one of the players that just messes up the game. She's going to make an impact regardless if she has the ball, if she's scoring or if she's not. Olivia Nelson-Doda, the size, 9.4 points, 5.7 rebounds. And, Diamond Miller, Terp legend, 8.8 points, 2.4 rebounds. She's capable of being a 3-level scorer. If she get high, it could be a problem. So, again, come with that same urgency that you had against the Aces and Valkyrie. No letdowns, because right now you're fighting for something much bigger. Go in, handle business early, and then you can get even more rest. You know what I mean? And this is the type of game where, I'm looking at the top 4. Sonia, Kiki, Anya Webber, Shakira, dominate. So about early inning, midway through the third, y'all can sit, y'all can chill, and let the young ladies play. Let Betts and Cassandra and all them, let them get the reps and stuff like that, so that they could build up as the second half, get more reps, get more confidence as the second half begins, man. Because the game's only gonna get harder. Even though they kind of got starting out a kind of an easy schedule. If when you look at things, I don't like to say any schedule's easy, but you know what I mean. They don't have too many outside the Wings and the Dream. They got like the Mercury and all that. You have some games where you should be able to just win. You know what I mean? So you got to handle business because, like I said, it's playoff mode. But later, as they continue to go into August, you're going to have the aces twice. You got the Tempo, you got the Lynx, you got the Fire, you got the Mercury, you got the Sparks. Like, you got some heavyweight playoff teams that you're going to have to deal with to close out the season. But it's a good mix here and there of lottery teams and teams that's going to be in the playoffs. But you got to have the business with the lottery teams to stay in the playoff race, or if I'm sure they trying to move up. Welcome to an all-new edition of The Pro, presented by The Focus. We'll be taking an in-depth look at the players, tendencies, and basketball nuances that drive success at the highest level. In this episode, we're spotlighting Washington Mystics rookie point guard Georgia Amoore and examining why her impact extends far beyond the box score. From her ability to stretch the floor as a shooter and create opportunities as a dynamic playmaker to competing defensively without becoming a liability. Amoore has quickly emerged as one of the Mystics' most important pieces. Her continued development could ultimately be the X factor that determines not only whether Washington secures a playoff berth, but how deep the Mystics can advance once the WNBA playoffs begin. Let's start by breaking down her impact on the offensive end of the floor. Georgia Amoore dishes out of a beautiful fast break pass on the break to Sonia Citron. This is a great indication of her court awareness and playmaking as she gets the ball out ahead to Citron for an easy lay-in before facing a set defense. These are the opportunities that make Amoore a difference maker if the Mystics can continuously get stops and rebound the ball. Amoore sets a delayed goal screen as Sonia Citron Kiki Iriafen execute a pick and roll action. As Iriafen rolls to the basket, drawing a lot of attention from the Valkyries, Amoore jumps out from the mid-post for an elbow three. Onyenwere surveys the floor and finds Shakira Austin splashing to the free throw line. With the fear of the super athletic Austin being able to get downhill, Valkyries forward Gabby Williams gets caught too far out of position. As Austin finds a wide open Amoore, Gabby can't recover, and Amoore nails the corner three. Amoore coming off an Iriafen screen, probes, draws the defense, and finds Iriafen for the jumper. Amoore setting up in the opposite corner receives the pass. She drives right and spins around Valkyrie's point guard Veronica Burton baseline and finds Onyenwere spotting up across the court for a three-pointer, which she nails. Amoore crosses half court, being defended by Talbot. As she slows up outside three-point range at the elbow, Mystics All-Star forward Kiki Iriafen comes over to set a screen. As she sets the screen, Amoore, anticipating Talbot jumping over the screen to not let her get downhill, hits Talbot with a nasty crossover going away from the screen. She completely loses Talbot and nails the three-pointer. Defense. Amoore defends Veronica Burton. Valkyrie center Kia Stokes comes over to set a screen. Amoore goes under the screen and Burton turns on the afterburners and blows by Amoore for the easy lay-in. Amoore defense on Burton leads to a forced pass that results in a turnover. Citron deflects the pass, Shakira gathers the ball, races up the floor, and finds Citron spotting up outside three-point range. Citron tip passes the ball to Iriafen, who overpowers Burton and scores inside. Aces point guard Chelsea Gray brings the ball up the floor. She calls a set and finds AJ Wilson setting up in the high post. Amoore defending 6'2" Stephanie Talbot on the weak side corner commits the Cardinal sin of not being in position to see woman and ball. Talbot, seeing Amoore ball watching, cuts right behind her and posts Amoore up deep inside the paint. Wilson, surveying the floor, sees the mismatch, passes over the top to Talbot, and Talbot easily scores. Sonia Citron didn't have time to come over and help the play happen so quick. Gray finds Wilson off a pick and pop action at the top of the key. Amoore is defending Dana Evans in the weak side corner. Aces center Brianna Turner, after seeing Mystics forward Angela Dugalich leave her to defend Wilson, rolls to the basket. Amoore is in position to slide over to prevent the roll. Instead, she watches Wilson find Turner for an easy lay-in. As talented as this young Washington Mystics roster is, Georgia Moore may ultimately be the player who determines just how high this team's ceiling can be. If she can become a more efficient, consistent perimeter shooter, defense will be forced to respect her scoring ability, opening driving lanes, creating better spacing for fellow All-Stars Sonia Citron, Kiki Iriafen, as well as Shakira Austin, who has played at an All-Star level this season, and Michaela Onyenwere to attack the paint, collapse defenses, and generate quality offense. Her ability to keep defenders honest doesn't just improve her individual production, it elevates the efficiency of the entire Mystics offense. Just as important will be her impact on the defensive end. If Moore continues to compete defensively, avoids becoming a matchup that opponents can consistently exploit, limits turnovers, and continues making sound decisions as the team's floor general, she makes Washington a much more complete basketball team. Those improvements translate directly to more defensive stops, better transition opportunities, and a more formidable team identity on both ends of the floor. With 14 games remaining and the Mystics sitting just 4.5 games behind the second-seeded Golden State Valkyries, a team Washington defeated on the road before the All-Star break, they still have an opportunity to climb the standings. If Georgia Moore can consistently provide steady two-way play at the point guard position, don't be surprised if the Mystics not only improve their playoff position, but emerge as one of the WNBA's toughest outs once the postseason begins.
All right, Mystics folks, both of those things are up on the channel, will be up on the channel. And then also we'll see y'all later tonight for Mystics Outlook after tonight's game. At the moment, it's 52:49 with about a minute 30 left in the first half. So Cardell Ray and I will be talking about that a little later this evening. But Cardell, where are we headed next? It's that wonderful lull in the year when we're like a couple weeks from actual NFL news, and then that season officially gets going. So Octavia, we look forward to that in a couple weeks. But the floor is yours, Cardell.
Yeah, a couple of things I want to touch on across all sports, but let's get it out the way. Obviously, NBA free agency is going on, and the big one landed last week as LeBron James announced that he was going to agree to a 2-year deal worth $8 million with the Philadelphia 76ers. He would have an option for year 2. He revealed that he was strongly considering retirement going into the offseason. He also considered signing with the Cavaliers, Miami Heat, Golden State Warriors, and Minnesota Timberwolves. James will form a core alongside Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, who recently was traded from the Celtics, Joel Embiid, and rookie sensation VJ Edgecombe. Quote, "I thought I was done when the season ended," James said in a statement. "I wasn't ready to announce it, and I knew I needed some time to really decide, but I was pretty sure I played my last game. I was honest at that last press conference when I said I needed to look at myself and decide if I still love this game. I still truly love this game, and I have more to give. The last few weeks have really been special. I've never been able to have no clue what to do and take real time to just think. I've had an incredible few months with all the people I love trying to figure it all out. This is my last decision. I'm not going for money. I'm not going for family. What am I really playing for at this point? Still want to sacrifice, still want to work, still want to grind, I still want to compete to win, and to have a chance at the feeling of winning another championship. I believe I can help make the Philadelphia 76ers a championship team, and I am so excited to energize a new fan base and start this incredible journey one last time. Thank you, LA. Miami, I'll forever love, and Northeast Ohio will always be home." I'll tell you, we're going to start with you. What are your thoughts?
I have none. I really don't care. Congratulations. I really thought this was my, yeah, we know it wasn't. Like, you're really going to go out without a farewell tour? Sure, LeBron. You really thought that was your last game. Great promo for whatever documentary he's planning, and however many years after he retires, but honestly don't care. Another team for him. What's this? His 14. Congratulations. I'm glad you took all the time you needed and you decided not to go for money and all those great things, but good luck to you.
Ray?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I literally do not care. I'm glad that part of it is over. Go ahead and just play this year and leave us alone. It's all the theatrics is just not necessary at this point. yeah, man, just go ahead and do your duty, and then just fade away. Like I'm completely over it.
Wilson.
Yeah, man, it was just funny and completely unnecessary. You knew where you was going like a week or two ago, so you could have just announced it like most other people doing free agency. You're 40 plus. There was no reason for a decision like announcement. Um, just let things move on. You want to play for the Sixers? I got more information that I wanted. You want to play in Philly? You want to live in New York? All the things which are none of my business, none of my concern. There's like a laundry list of items I'm excited about this season as it pertains to the NBA. This is one of them I'm not too excited about. And just Joel Embiid, you are in my prayers, sir. It's gonna be a long year of if you ever thought you knew what it was like to get blamed for anything, sir. The minute that you are absent because of injury, sir, just it's gonna be a long year in that regard from a blame standpoint. But yeah, man, as Octavia said, it sounded like a WWE promo. Like it was just unnecessary, man. Choose your team, and that's it, man. Cool. That's it. We'll see what it looks like, in a couple months. So
I guess congrats to the Sixers. Yeah, moving on. ESPN report. I definitely want to talk to y'all about this. ESPN reporter Monica McNutt is under fire after she said she wants to see more accountability from Fever guard, All-Star guard Caitlin Clark. Look, as the WNBA continues to push back on targeted online harassment of Black players, McNutt, 36, said the 24-year-old Indiana Fever star has room for a little bit more accountability in her role in the league's sisterhood after Clark said the narratives around her are emotionally exhausting in an interview with Malika Andrews the day prior. Quote, when I walk out the locker room, I shouldn't be not fearful what the conversation is going to be. Clark told Andrews in an exclusive interview. During the ESPN broadcast with Andrews on Sunday, July 26, McNutt said she found it interesting that Clark used the word fearful in her interview. Quote, we don't often get to hear Caitlin Clark's perspective on quite this level of honesty, and this is an important conversation to continue to have with empathy for everyone involved, Andrews told McNutt. McNutt replied, I thought the word of being fearful of the conversation after the game was interesting because oftentimes it seems, at least in a larger discourse, and not that this isn't an emotional experience for Caitlin Clark, because I believe that it is, but it's the folks that are accused of doing something outside of the parameters and competitions that are actually the ones that are fearful when you look at their social media. McNutt continued, this is what I will say. Caitlin Clark is 24. She is a shining star in the galaxy of the WNBA, but I do think that as she continues to matriculate through this league, there's room for a little bit more accountability and self-awareness in terms of her role in a larger sisterhood if she sees it that way in the WNBA. But Malika, I agree with her 100%. It is certainly exhausting for all of us that want to celebrate where this league is and the beautiful basketball that is being played. This larger discourse that can be very disappointing. McNutt added. McNutt has been drawing a lot of heat online from those people that are the main culprits of the negative discourse that's going on for the majority players in the WNBA, Black players, and Caitlin Clark, using Caitlin Clark kind of as the focal point of their wrath towards the Black players. But y'all get the gist of it. Ray, what are your thoughts on what McNutt said and the discourse needing to stop and change towards Black players?
Yeah, I agree with Monica, man. It's the point that is reached is ridiculous. And in regards to Caitlin being a little more accountable, I mean, yeah, like we're not going to hold her responsible for people that she doesn't even know exist doing things. But at the same time, she's never come out and said, I want people to stop being racist on my behalf. And I think it's important that she clearly state that, because in a situation like this, silence is compliance, plain and simple. There is no room for middle ground here. She should come out and plainly say, I see this is happening and I don't want my name associated with this. People that are doing this, they're not my fans. There are people using me as a dog whistle to be racist towards black players in this league. That would completely absolve her from any of this. Not saying it's going to stop, but at least that way you can't link her to it at all. So that's why I think she can kind of even take some of the pressure off herself, because they're waving her as their flag, and that's unfair to her. But at the same time, it's the reality we live in. I'm sure it's tough for her to be in the center of all this. Like you said, she's young, she's 24. Like it's a lot to deal with. It'll be a lot to deal with at 42. So, yeah, I can imagine it's not it's not pleasant for her to be going through this, but yeah, at the same time, read the room. You're using words like fearful when people are having their lives threatened and their personal addresses leaked online and death threats and stalkers and things like that. Like you can be a little more careful with your word choice. But yeah, it's at a point where somebody needs to make a firm statement opposing what's happening, and I don't think that's happened yet.
Wilson.
Yeah, I think multiple things are true. Yeah, I'm with Ray. You got to read the room. Can't be using things like fearful. Just talking about the news. When, again, from the sisterhood standpoint, there's no way that you're not somehow aware of it with what 80 to 90% of the league is going through. And yeah, just something as simple as like, I don't think it's too much. I just think, honestly, just from a human standpoint, my name was tied to something that I don't agree with. You just denounce it and keep it moving. Yeah, you can't stop it, but you can denounce it and make it clear, for those, like you said, it's very clear, and it's been something that's been climbing since like maybe the senior year at Iowa, where it's just like, because it wasn't like that freshman year. We covered the Big Ten, watched that kind of grow into what it's become before it hit the league. And it wasn't like that the entire time. It was kind of out of pocket, but it wasn't this. And like you said, like they're using her as like her face is on the imaginary flag before they say charge to go do some outlandish ish. And again, not her fault, but it's not too much to ask. Just denounce it. Like what normal human being, regardless of your age, if someone's tying your name to something that you have nothing to do with, it takes 2 seconds to denounce it. I'm not asking you to turn into the page and start talking the way that page does. Like, no one's asking that, but denounce it. Like what some of these people are using your name for is disgusting.
Octavian.
It's funny you mentioned Paige, because that's exactly what I wish she would do. And Paige doesn't even have the same issues that the Caitlin Clark fans have. And you see how much more, I mean, and maybe it's just me, but it's just how much more I feel like Paige is accepted. Not saying Clayton is not accepted. I don't know if that's the right word that I'm trying to use, but she stands for something, she, even if it's not directly related to her, she comes out and she speaks up on stuff. And like you said, I understand she's not Paige, and maybe she just doesn't have that within her at her age. We're human, we're all still growing. But I do think that if she at least addressed it head on, it would make it, like you said, better for her and in her space. And definitely echo everybody's sentiments about the choice of words that she uses. I wonder if she has a PR rep. I wonder if this PR rep is worth anything as well, because it doesn't seem like it's been helping her so far. But yeah, it's just crazy, for her to say, I'm fearful, I'm exhausted. Baby girl, we are exhausted. Overly exhausted. And her play just exasperates it even more. and the things that she does in games. Now, granted, I'm sure she's not actively thinking about that as the games are going on. She's just being herself, I guess. But yeah, it's really disheartening, especially because a lot of these people that are doing these things, like you guys said, aren't true fans of hers. They aren't true WNBA fans. They probably aren't even basketball fans. Because half the time when I get bored and I'm reading trolls on Instagram, they don't even know what they're talking about half of the time. So it's just something to do, and I wish she would stand a little bit firm on it. But I feel like the further and further we're getting into it, the less and less hope that I think that she will. Maybe I can be surprised. Hopefully I can be. But it seems like she's trying to straddle the fence on the attention that it gives her versus not taking the responsibility that attention comes with. So I really don't have any faith that anything's going to change, at least on her end. I really don't have any faith that the people are going to stop doing anything without even her saying anything. Not saying that her saying anything will make them stop, but it'll at least be something that's out there, that's printed, and she can kind of try to distance herself from it if she wants to. But I just feel like by her not saying anything, it doesn't really feel like she wants to fully distance herself from it.
My take on it is, it's ironic. The very thing that she wants to happen, if she do what all three of you say she should do, and I agree with, just speak out against it, she would take the power away from these racist people in her fan base that are using her to just push negativity and racist stuff not at the WNBA and the black players in the WNBA, let's call it what it is, the black coaches and the people who run the WNBA. It would take the power from them because they would have no basis to stand on. The person you're trying to use literally spoke out against y'all that you're trying to speak through. So if she would do that, then guess what? The black players, when they compete against her, won't try to stick it to that racist fan base by, if they get a chance to, touch her up a little bit more. I'm going to touch you up a little bit more. That's what she don't understand. And that's what comes with it. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? You got to understand what's going on. One is competition is already intense. I woke up this morning, saw a whole bunch of messages from your fans saying I should die and I'm ugly and I ain't that good and I should worship the ground you want. But when I see you, I can't get to them because I don't even know who they are. But when I see you, what you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna come with a little bit more. Come with a little extra. And I'm not saying be dirty or something, just be physical. And I'm gonna go out my way to destroy you to stick it to them. Because I can get away with it because my job is to destroy you if I can. So those are the things you got to take the responsibility. You want the spotlight, right? So you got to take the full responsibility of everything that comes with it. And the fact that she's just still like trying to play victim of what? Like what? With a couple extra hard fouls? What are you really the victim of? You know what I mean? Like you're not getting threatened like these sisters. No, you're not the greatest player ever. No, you're not even close. You're not even the best player in the league. You're like no. When have we gotten away from calling it like it is? It's nothing, no disrespect. If she was the best player in the league, we would say she's the best player in the league. Like, what's the like? We don't know her. Like, I mean, it's not making our day or making or breaking what we got going on. But that's what it seemed like her fan base wants everybody to do. Just move out the way and just push her to be something that she hasn't earned, and that's not sports. That's just not how it's done. You gotta earn things. Like I got on X early today, and I saw Dan Dockage on his. I think he writes for Outkick, that racist platform, and he was saying like the WNBA platform. I mean, the documentary that they release or are releasing. He was saying, why isn't Caitlin Clark in there? See, this is what we're talking about. They clearly have something against Caitlin Clark. And somebody had to remind him the documentaries for the second half of last season through the championship. Caitlin Clark was hurt. That's why she's not in the documentary. And you could have easily just looked that up, journalists. So that's how stupid they look. Like, you know what I mean? They're just looking for anything to push. And what's making it worse, let's bring this up. Let's keep it real. That's what we do on this show. People in our community, that's with the BS. And that's making it worse. That's making it far worse. That's justifying this. They're reiterating the same thing that this racist fan base are saying, and they don't think nothing's wrong with it. I'm like, you are making it even worse for these sisters. Why can't y'all see what's going on? We're not saying Caitlin Clark is the one doing it. Of course she's not. But she's the one they're using, like they're trying to push. And you can't just live your life and don't. It's no way she can convince me that she don't see that going on, which makes it even more alarming that she hasn't said anything about it. I mean, she has, in a sense. I think that little what was it, the Time magazine article? She said that no, do it on camera, just to see. That seems to go around a lot more than the article. Do that on camera. It's out there. You ain't even got to address it no more. And then that would take the power from them, and they would have to be quiet. And then everybody can just go hoop. But it's yeah, and then for them to attack Monica, who we know has put in work for years and has deserves everything she has and has gotten, it's just ridiculous, man. Talking about she's the female Ryan Clark and all that stuff she needs to go to. Yeah, man, like no. That's why I wanted to bring it up so we can have her back and whatnot. She didn't say anything wrong. She's a black woman. She's standing up for all the sisters in the W. Some of the sisters in the W she competed against in college. You know what I mean? Or known just through travels of covering the WNBA. No, she's telling it like it is, and that's the job of a journalist. And you supposed to tell her like it is. And it's just like, no, she needs to take some accountability. And she does. I'm talking about Caitlin Clark. Because a lot of times, she's throwing rocks and hiding in her hands. Like it was a recent game against the Liberty. She's coming off the curl. You can clearly see Jonquel Jones. Ray Charles can see Jonquel Jones. And you still ran into a fell on ground, cussed out the referee. Because you ain't get the call. Everybody in the gym saw you was looking dead at Jonquel. Get around it. But because you didn't get a call, and that's the type of stuff that's been going on since Iowa. We all remember the NCAA tournament where even her father was in the stands, got caught on camera saying, "Shut up." It's annoying. That part is annoying. And it's dangerous because also we've seen, what's the term that they use? The Karens and stuff.
White women tears.
Yeah, white women tears. And it gets people killed. It gets people hurt, gets people locked up, all that type of stuff. So it's dangerous, and she's kind of playing to that. That's what's going on. She don't got to admit it. We can see what's going on. So she can get foul calls within the game, get favorable calls and stuff, and she thinks that's an advantage. Cool. So you know what? When I get my chance to hit you, I'm going to really hit you. I'm going to make you feel it. So we can either play basketball or we can play basketball. And that's where it is. So you talking about you feel real, don't do that. See, now you're making it real dangerous. So she has to take some accountability and change these things. Otherwise, it's only going to get worse. And since these ladies can't touch these races, who you think they're going to touch? All right. I'm going to leave it there, man. We're going to move on. The Wizards, man. Oh, man, the Wizards moving, man. Rumor has it they have emerged with interest for signing DeMar DeRozan. The Miami Heat, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Denver Nuggets have also expressed interest in DeRozan, who was a free agent after he was waived by the Sacramento Kings in early July. The Wizards are trying to accelerate their rebuild with the previous additions of veterans Trae Young and Anthony Davis. Obviously, the Wizards drafted A.J. DeMoss with the first overall pick. DeRozan was represented by Aaron Goodman, appeared in 77 games last season with the Kings and averaged 18.4 points, 2.9 rebounds, 4.1 assists. Wilson, we're going to start with you. Do you like that they have interest in DeMar? And if they go after him, what does that mean for some of the young core? I mean, share your thoughts.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. It's go time. It's been a few years of the T word or whatnot. So it's time to go, man. And just for the kids, man, life comes at you fast. Either get the minutes or don't. There's other teams. You figure out if you either be here or you won't. It is what it is, man. Don't know what to tell you, but yeah, add some veteran depth on here, man. There's nothing wrong with that. And the thing I like about DeMar is while he doesn't, we don't see as many explosive forays to the rim as, his younger days or whatever in Toronto, it's yet another person that can apply pressure to the rim. And, what's that area in the floor that really good scorers score in? Yeah, he's one of those guys.
Mid-range
In the conversation for tops in the league throughout his career. Like, that's where he operates out of. And I like it just like literally just for that. It's a veteran. It's another person that can operate in the in-between because, bro, you got Trae Young, you got a bunch of other shooters, people want space the floor. Do you know what DeMar and AJ can do with that type of spacing? That's putting crazy stress on people. Also, that's a great little roadmap for young fella, for AJ. That's a great little roadmap. Not to say the game is super similar, but as of right now, AJ operates out of the same place. Why not pick up some tools and tricks of the trade from somebody who lives in that place, man? Like every year after year, we look at the people who take the most shots to that area, most efficient, whatever. It's KD in that conversation somewhere. DeMar is not that far behind. Year after year after year. So, yeah, I'm all for it. And as for the kids, man, hey, get in where you fit in.
Octavian.
Yeah, I agree. I like it for the veteran presence as well. And then, like you said, the kids got to grow up sometime. And who else could you, of course, but who could not want to learn from DeMar DeRozan and what he's done in the league? Like you already said, mid-range assassin. I'm sure he has a lot of knowledge that he's still able to give them. And let's be real. He was kind of, I'll be honest. I didn't watch many Sacramento Kings games, so not even going to lie about that. But I'm sure DeMar DeRozan still got a lot left in his tank. Maybe not, of course, his younger days, but that's what the young Bucks are there for. So I would love to see it if they were able to get it pulled off. I think it would be a good pickup for him.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in the same place as Wilson and Octavia, man. Get another veteran in the locker room. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's what's missing from a lot of teams these days. He's somebody that's seen a fair share of success in his NBA career, and he can teach these youngsters how to be professionals, man. Like it's not easy to navigate the NBA as at 19 years old, and you need somebody that's been there before to kind of walk you through that. So yeah, when I first saw the notification, I was like, yeah, this to me looks like they're serious about winning. Not so much they're not expecting him to come in and be what he was in his prime. That's not what this pickup is about, man. It's about getting a veteran in the locker room to guide these kids to help them get to that next level. Because, like you said, the last few years of nonsense we've endured has been building up to this point, and they want to maximize that. So, yeah, man, I love it. I think that's definitely a good move for them.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just a trickle-down effect of what happened to Philly. The Knicks winning. You say Boston as well, Tatum and Paul George. Paul George played well when he came back from the suspension, you know what I mean? Just that tandem. I think when you look across the league, sometimes you're not making moves just kind of for you. You're making moves because you see what's going on around the league, you know what I mean? Like, can't go fight a war. Everybody fighting with nukes, and you got a butter knife. You know what I mean? You got to get some nukes too, and the more the merrier. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the youngest. Hey, welcome to the business of the NBA. It's real, and also I think it's kind of setting things up for some of them. Like they're gonna weed it out. Like some of them wings, that it's still not clicking. Got to go because they can't afford to maintain like a winning caliber team with that second apron, man. I don't think people understand how devastating that second apron is. It's more than just paying a heavy tax penalty. Man, they can take draft picks from you. Like, not next year. You know what? 2029, I want that. You know what I mean? And then let's say you fall on hard times and you like, hey man, we trying to come up out of it. You don't even have a draft pick for what happened now. So you gotta be careful. That's why some of these teams, I don't even know if it's the GM or whatever. I think the ownership is like, hey, don't touch that. Like we get close to that, everybody getting fired. So GM's like, don't touch it. You want to keep your job? All right. And I think that's just kind of what's going on, man. You know what I mean? Unless the owner gives the cosign, hey, man, we got a chance to win and go for it. But that's few and far in between. So, yeah, I mean, the more the merrier, because man, it's an arms race. And sometimes you make moves. Let's keep it real. Sometimes teams in the league make moves to keep this player from going to another team that they got to deal with. You know, it just is what it is, man. So, yeah, if they do add him, training camp will be very interesting. It's already very interesting. It'll be very competitive because I know he ain't coming there to come off the bench. So, yeah, we know Trey and AD going to start. I'm pretty sure Saar looking around the locker room like by default because I'm 6'11", I'm starting. So I don't know, that 2 or 3. Hey, AJ starting because he the number 1 pick. That 2. Hey man, young wave off the bench, baby. That's how I go. Hey man, it's just real. So DeMar coming in there like, I know y'all don't think I'm coming off the bench. I ain't coming for that. So that's your star 5. And then you got something cooking. Like that's something you can look at like, damn, they might, dare we say, Wizards and competing for a championship run? Dare we say that? Like that on paper, that's something you can kind of think about more if they add him, because you got the firepower, and then you got the youngest that's been building and developing, and they're gonna learn from the best, but they already got battle scars. They already been trying to figure out the league, and then they want to win, and they're gonna have to produce, because if they don't produce, what's next. So the beautiful thing, everybody chasing the Knicks. The Knicks, I feel like, took a step back and losing Mitchell Robinson. That's gonna hurt them more than what people realize. But it's not like they're invincible. They can be got if the right team is put together, man, and they gel at the right time. So I think that's what you're kind of seeing in the East, man. It's kind of like an arms race, man. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see where he end up, man. But the fact that his interest, and I know he can look at the Wizards for once and just be like, a big-time free agent can look at the Wizards and really take a look at it. Like, all right, let me really look at that, because I like what's going on over there, and really take his time. That means the Wizards are on the right track, because like Ray said, the last few years, there's no way in hell DeMar would have, you know what I'm saying? There's no way, bro. No. Don't even hit my line. He would look at his agent like, why are you bringing up the Wizards? Unless they come in with some crazy amount of money that I got to look at. That's the only way, man. So, it's going to be interesting to see where he lands. All right, and we're going to move over to the football side of things, man. Some crazy news out of 49er land. Kyle Shanahan called reporters into his office on Tuesday to correct inaccurate details surrounding his July 14th car accident, clarifying that he was the one who crossed into oncoming traffic, not the 21-year-old driver of the other vehicle. A California crash database had indicated the other driver made an illegal turn leading to the head-on collision in Palo Alto. A detail Shanahan said was incorrect. Shanahan explained that his phone had slid off his lap, prompting him to take his eyes off the road to retrieve it between the seats. The vehicles collided, and he was reaching for the phone. Quote, I hit her, said an emotional Shanahan. I don't know why it was reported the other way. The 49ers head coach detailed the extent of his injury, saying the airbag broke his nose while a metal garage door opener clipped to his visor sliced open a gash above his right eye that required more than 40 stitches. He also suffered 3 broken ribs and a concussion, symptoms of which he continues to manage. Shanahan said the other driver was not injured. He was returning from a chiropractor appointment in Menlo Park at the time and was traveling in the left-hand lane of Almo Avenue on Palo Alto, a 4-lane road separated by a double yellow line. Investigators told him he was traveling 20 miles per hour amid evening traffic. Quote, it was one of those roads that has no forgiveness, said Shanahan. The impact, I'll never forget it because of how violent it was. Shanahan said he never lost consciousness and remains able to recall the details of the crash and its aftermath. He waited at the scene for his wife to arrive before being taken by ambulance to Stanford Hospital, where he remained awake as surgeons stitched the wound on his face. Shanahan showed reporters a photo of his heavily swollen face from immediately following the crash, noting that his appearance has largely returned to normal 2 weeks later. Oh, man. Yeah, Octavia, just what are your thoughts on that? It's a take it or leave it question. Obviously, prayers up to him for better health, but we all know coaches that get banged up early, and the stress that comes with coaching teams, whether in college or the pros. Concussion is no joke, and he's still 2 weeks later dealing with symptoms of it. Do you think that can impact how he coaches during the season or whatnot? And just share your thoughts on it overall.
Yeah, first off, I want to give him props for taking accountability. That A word that a lot of people don't like to do. He could have let that report stay out there, tarnish that 21-year-old's name, and go on about his life. I appreciate that he was able to take the accountability and say it was my fault. It was not that person's fault. So a lot of coaches would not coaches. A lot of people wouldn't do that. So number one, give him props for taking accountability, especially when you make a mistake. We're human. We make mistakes. Thank God that both of them are okay, especially with car accidents. That airbag is there to help you, but it still F you up in the process. As we can see, I have been in accidents where, thank goodness, the airbag was there, but I had a black eye from the airbag, but I'm alive. So thankfully that they're both still here. I want to say I'm hopeful that it doesn't have too much of an effect on him. I think that from what we've heard so far from John Lynch and everybody else coming out of the 49ers camp, that they are taking it very seriously and basically treating him like he's a player in concussion protocol, making sure that, he's not out, around too many different sounds, lights, and things of that sort. I think there have been some reports about him being out at practice recently. But I feel like that everything that I know about that organization, that now I know they have their issues with their injury prone players, but we haven't heard any issues as far as any concussions or anything like that. And I think Kyle Shanahan is a smart enough guy to know when to stop, even though we all know that he probably lives, breathes, and eats football. But I'm sure that he has people in his life that can rein him in at times. So I'm hopeful that it doesn't, but I do agree with you said, like the stress of it, they're going into a year again with two of the top teams in the NFC, or even if you want to consider in the NFL and their division isn't getting any easier, especially with the addition of Myles Garrett to the Rams. And then we know what Seattle did last year. And then, of course, the talks of possibility of Aaron Donald coming back, which a lot of people think it's a foregone conclusion at this point. So I know that's already having the stress of having to prepare for that. So I'm hopeful that, it doesn't affect him too much. But I know that it's got to be on his mind, especially with today being the first day that every team in the NFL is fully in training camp. From last Thursday up until now, all rookies in, vets are in training camp, and they're getting everything going. I mean, we have a game next week. We have the Hall of Fame game next weekend. So everything is kind of getting into shape. So I'm sure it's at the worst possible time that it could have happened for him. But I'm hopeful that he'll be able to pull through it and take his time getting back. And I know they have a lot of faith in all the other coaches that they have out there.
Right.
Yeah, man. First of all, hopefully he makes a full recovery. But yeah, like Octavia said, man, I'm really glad he just came out and cleared that up. I'm sure an investigation would have eventually, uncovered the facts, but she would have to live with that in the meantime. So yeah, just glad he just said, hey man, this is what happened. I'm not sure where that other report came from, but this is what it is. But as far as him coaching, like you said, man, like that already puts stress on your body. And now your body's been just shaken up to the highest degree. So I hope he's, taking it easy and just kind of listening to his body and going along carefully. And, if he's able to be out there on the sidelines game one, then great. If he's not, then, of course, I hope that he would just, take his, put his health as a priority and just, move along at the pace that his body allows him, and just not try to force anything. Cause yeah, man, you don't want to get into a space where you're being forced to sit down after you try to do too much. So yeah, just hope he's being careful and listening to the signs his body is giving him, and he's getting good advice from those around him.
Well said.
Yeah, I was just happy. First off, like I don't know how much. I know everyone's Twitter or X algorithms are different, but the conspiracy theories have been going crazy since the accident happened. The news came out, so finally everybody, when he shared that news today with the beat reporters, it kind of shut up a little bit. People are floating things out there like DUIs and side chicks, all types of other just wild stuff, because they weren't getting the information that messy people need when something happens. I'm with you guys with the accountability for that young lady, that youngster, because people are vile today. We're just talking about people, coming off the Caitlin Clark thing, talking about people look up into people's lives and attack people because you're a stan of someone. It applies across all sports. A lot of these people need help. Find something else to do. Find something in life that keeps your attention. It's just crazy. So, yeah, I'm happy he came out, said it was his fault. So that takes that whole thing off that youngster, who wants it. I was also happy that the other driver wasn't hurt at all. Came out the news with the phone and everything. And like Octavia said, airbags will F you up while saving your life. I'm sure the least thing, not to be too funny or whatever, might want to move that garage opener off that visor going forward. But yeah, man, look, and the other thing is people got an issue with people's privacy too. Like there was nothing that told anybody that there was a rule that as soon as something happened to them, because they have some stature or whatever, they have to tell you. That's not how everything works for everybody. Like people are literally complaining for 2 weeks. Why did it take 11 days? Bro, you're not in a family. Players on the team knew because his wife texted them. You're not inside the circle of trust, bro. Like it's okay. You weren't on the list of people that Mandy Shanahan texted to let them know what happened to Kyle. I'm so sorry. But yeah, as for the football thing, this is one of the things where from a football standpoint, I'm not worried in the least bit. He can take as much time as he needs. Honestly, because he's been there, like him and John been there 10 years or whatever. It's a well-oiled machine. You got several former head coaches on your staff. You just got your guy over there who you've been trying to get over there since you got the job in Ninerland. Raheem Morris is finally on your staff. You've been trying to get him back since you first got the Niners job out of Atlanta and they told you no. Chris Forester's been around forever. Matt Eberflus, I think he just left the Bears or whatever. He's a guy with former head coach experience, and also just there's players on your team that's been there for 10 years. You got your Freds, your Knicks, Trent, what have you. Football's going to take care of itself. You still got one of the Kubiak kids over there. Your family and their family is synonymous with the same football language that y'all speak. You've already been giving, I can't think of the right word, but you've been deferring a little bit to the young Kubiak the last couple of years, like a preseason. He's been calling plays or whatnot, things like that. So, like, they talked to Brock the other day. Brock's used to hearing Kubiak's voice, so it's not like, oh, my gosh, this is jarring. Like, so from a football standpoint, everything's fine. I'm just focused on the life standpoint. I'm happy that the young lady's okay, and hopefully people can leave her the hell alone. And, yeah, Kyle, I'm sure he's going to heal up fine. But, yeah, y'all got to, like, no one's entitled to anybody else's personal information. Y'all got to find something else to do with that, like, really, truly.
Yeah, again, piggyback off what y'all say, I'm glad he was accountable. More so, that 21-year-old, the insurance part of it, man, you know what I mean? The high-profile situation in it. I know, obviously he's dealing with trying to heal from it, so he's oblivious to reports and, whatever. But he's like, I'm not sure how the report got out there. Somebody, I don't know where it came from. I'm not gonna blame the 49ers organization, but some people, our team, they got their people that they can call and cover things up. But I'm glad he was able to, because he understand, like, man, I can do it. I'm a grown man. That 21-year-old girl shouldn't have to deal with the aftermath of this accident that I caused. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna be a man and own that. He deserved the utmost respect because, like y'all said, I was in an accident before a lady hit me, and crowd was saying, "Hey, I'll take full responsibility as soon as the police get there. It's his fault." I'm like, what? And it like live right in his face. I'm laughing at her. Of course, he kind of looking at me like, "Yeah," but great thing we have traffic cameras, and that saved me. So, but she lied right to my face, right as soon as the police came. So. I'm glad he did that. And then also when you're 21, she probably some young college student or something. you don't want to be walking around campus. Let's say the 49ers have a bad season, he can't coach and stuff, because it has happened before. I remember Coach K missed the whole year because he had not a whole year, like the last 19 games of the mid-90s season, something, because he had back surgery, and anybody that had a back injury know that ain't nothing to play with, man. It tore him up, and he had to literally step away to heal, and Duke ain't have a good season. So, Matt, I don't want this. I'm praying that, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I hope it doesn't. I'm praying it doesn't happen, but it's possible. Concussions are weird. So what if he got to step away to get himself together and the 49ers don't do well? What did Wilson just talk about? These crazy loser-ass people. Now they're going to be harassing that girl, find out who she is. She trying to go to class. They on campus calling her all types of names because the 49ers losing. And it's his fault. She had nothing to do with it. She just driving. So I'm glad he did that, man. But again, prayers up. But he gotta get himself together, man. They definitely gotta make sure he right, man. Because, I've seen plenty of documentaries about from NFL coaches over the years and stuff like that. It's no joke. They put in a lot of hours. It's a highly stressful job, and concussion and head injuries and all that combined with that stress, man. That's a bad mix. That's a terrible mix. So. He definitely got to get himself right. But if he get himself right, man, I expect him to be one of the top coaches in the NFL, do his thing, man. But, yeah, man, also another lesson, man, put them phones down, dog. You got to talk. Pull over to the side, man. Do what you got to do and keep it moving, man. I'm glad in recent years they kind of added, you could talk to your car with the phone and stuff instead of having it up to your ear on speaker. You know what I mean? Because, or something more dangerous. What if the phone would have fell behind the pedal? And he can't stop. I mean, that's what I'm saying. A whole lot of situations can happen, but man, kudos to him. Got a few more, then we're gonna get up out of here on the NFL side of things. Las Vegas Raiders head coach Clint Kubiak announced Tuesday that veteran Kirk Cousins will start at quarterback over first overall pick Fernando Mendoza entering training camp. Cool. When we got out to practice on Wednesday, Kirk Cousins is his starting quarterback. He's the guy, and he deserves it because he's played really good football. But I want Fernando and Aiden O'Connell to push him. This decision was widely expected after Cousins, who signed with the Las Vegas in April, took the majority of the first-team reps throughout the offseason program, performed well, according to Kubiak. Mendoza spent most of that time working with the second and third teams alongside O'Connell. Kubiak indicated the rotation of reps among quarterbacks will remain fluid as camp progresses. Quote, there's going to be times where certain guys are with the second team, certain guys are with the third team, the second guys with the first team, said Kubiak. Kubiak has consistently expressed a preference for developing young quarterbacks behind an established veteran rather than handing over the offense immediately, a philosophy shared by general manager John Spatek and minority owner Tom Brady. That approach factored into the team's decision to sign Cousins after his release from the Atlanta Falcons in March. Ray, with the decision, or should they do young fella out there? Because we've seen enough of Kirk Cousins.
That's exactly what I was going to say, man. But that kind of concerns me. Like, what are they seeing from Mendoza, and that they're making this type of decision? Like, yeah, that's wild, man. Like, you pick a quarterback first overall, you bring, like, naturally, if you bring a guy like Kirk Cousins in at this point in his career, after you took a quarterback with the top pick, you're thinking it's insurance policy as a backup. But now he's starting, so I don't know what's going on with that, but more power to him. And Kirk Cousins and his agent continue just to be the greatest swindlers on earth, man. But yeah, man. Yeah, that's gonna be real interesting to see how that shakes out.
Man, Wilson.
The only reason I'm not tripping too hard off it is just seeing like firsthand how on the basketball side where we talking like how there's been a drop off and how prepared players are today versus yesteryear. It's at a drastic levels from a quarterback standpoint, depending on where they go, what they're exposed to. And Kirk Cousins and his agent, to go along with what Ray's statement was, one of the best things that Kirk did is he learned two of the offenses that damn near the entire league copies. So everybody knows about his time with Kyle and Mike. All right, cool. After that, he spent time with Gary and Clint in Minnesota. So he had the father-son duo from both of those prolific behind offenses, and he's one of the guys that speaks it. He speaks it fluently. And one of the things with Kurt gets on my nerves or whatever, thing I give him credit for. It's an automatic 4,000 or 5,000 yards. If he's healthy, you just pencil it in. He's like a really simple computer. You program, he's going to do exactly what you say. Now, if you tell him to do something and the instructions kind of dicey, that's on you. Kurt going to do exactly what you said. That's literally on you. Whatever you input to the machine is on you. But that's how his brain works. And I just think it's probably going to be beneficial to Fernando to give him some time. I know he just played in the pro style offense at Indiana or whatnot, but no disrespect to Kurt Cignetti or whatever, running like a version of one of those two schemes versus running the actual thing from the actual people, two totally different languages. So take this year, let Kurt give you everything he needs from a knowledge standpoint, and then bury him next year and keep him going, Fernando. Like, that's cool. But this year, now sit there and learn, man. Saw firsthand with a lot of quarterbacks struggle with that. Trey Lance got to the Niners, struggled with it a little bit too, trying to get that. And you know, they were raving about his mental aptitude and everything else. But, like, obviously there's a jump between college and the pros. And then that system, man. Like, I'm kind of, like, dull to it to the standpoint where, like, for the most part, every time Niners draft wide receivers, you don't see them the first year unless people get hurt. It's that hard for them to pick up. It takes them a year to understand where they're supposed to be and when. And that's just wide receivers. I know quarterbacks be lost. So Fernando, be grateful that they went to go find somebody who speaks it fluently. Let Kirk deal with that. If he gets hurt, go out there and handle your business. But it bought you some great time, man. So him and Ty Simpson in great situations where you just sit there patiently and you just hope, you cross your fingers and be like, make sure both of these old dudes get through the entire season, and then I'll be ready to go next year.
Gotcha. Octavian.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's surprised by the call because, like you said, the fact that they even picked up Kirk Cousins gave you the inclination that that's where they wanted to go. But training camp just started. So I'm very interested to see how things evolve as time gets closer and closer to the season actually starting. The Raiders have been looking for a quarterback for who knows how long, probably since Jamarcus Russell. So we know that they have to kind of balance saving the young kid, but also realizing that their fan base is starved for something. And I think they were a little bit generous of talking about Kirk Cousins played really, really well recently. If he played really, really well, I think he'd still be in Atlanta. Couldn't have been playing that well. But again, him and his agent are undefeated. They always find a good place to land. They always find somewhere where his services are needed. And that's all you can really ask for as a veteran at this point. I won't be surprised if he end up on quarterback on the Netflix show Quarterback again, just for the same thing. But I'm not thinking that that's really what it is. I do think Kirk will probably start the season, but I don't think he's gonna finish as a starter this year. I think Fernando's eventually going to get in. I think it's more so because, I mean, the Raiders have some pieces. We know they still had the whole debacle with Max Crosby, who's seemingly to be ready to just slide back in and fit back in where he was before they traded him and then got him back. I don't think a lot of people expect a lot of the Raiders, so I think that we'll get to the point where it doesn't really matter who's playing quarterback at this point. It's not going to matter, and they're going to put the young boy out there to get him some reps and get him some time. So I think it'll be a mixed bag, but I am very interested to see how the quarterback competition goes throughout training camp. And if I'm going to say if, I'm pretty sure we will see him in at least a preseason game, see how he looks out there, and just let's hope he stays healthy, both of them, because we know how injury-prone Kirk Cousins has been for a little bit. And then, of course, you don't want the young guy to get injured in preseason or anything like that. So let's just see how it shakes out.
Yeah, Mike McCartney is a bad boy. He gets it done. key thing in this key name Tom Brady.
Facts.
You know, he came up like that. Drew Bledsoe, he was behind Drew Bledsoe till Drew Bledsoe got hurt, and then he never looked back. But you know, he had to wait his turn, kind of, and I think he just feels like what Wilson said. A lot of the quarterbacks, and Tom Brady has said this recently, like in a bunch of interviews. He's like, they're not being developed at younger stages. They're just not, and they're coming in ill prepared and with basic stuff on top of the advanced stuff you got to learn when you become an NFL quarterback. So I'm not mad at the move. Yeah, learn behind Kirk Cousins. Obviously, Kirk Cousins is up there. He's not going to be here forever. But when you get in, you want to stay in. When you get your opportunity, you want to stay. You don't want to keep going back to the bench because eventually, especially in the NFL, you're going to find yourself out the league. So I'm not mad at it at all. I mean, earn it. You know, you got to earn it, man. It's simple as that. If you came in and wowed everybody, you will be starting. Like, hey, Kirk, I know what we said, but I mean, you see it. I mean, it is what it is. So sometimes it's just clear, be undeniable. And if you're not undeniable, they got to go with the more sure thing as of now. And then you just develop, and when you get your opportunity, run with it. You know what I mean? So it doesn't – I know youngsters these days think everything's supposed to just be right now, man, but most of the time it doesn't work that way, especially at the highest level. And, you know, not being ready in the NFL brings a lot of pain. So you want to be ready. Call out blitzes and understand what's going on out there. Otherwise, you're going to be with the one with the concussion. And too many of those things, your career over. You don't want those problems. So, you know, let's just see how everything play out. But I'm not mad at it. Kirk's proven. It's not like he's terrible out here, man. You know what I'm saying? He may not be the best, but he's solid and he'll hold it down till the kid's ready. And you go from there, make your decision after that.
All right, folks, want to thank you as always for hanging out with us this week. We'll check in with you guys next week. Don't forget to get over to thefocustv.com. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll see you next Tuesday.